All right, you want to jump on some controversial issues right now?
Sure, why not?
We got plenty of that.
Yeah.
In the Buzz now at 9, an article about what the world will be like in 40 years is getting a ton of clicks this morning. Scientists gathered for a huge conference yesterday, and a group of them say the world will, quote, be unrecognizable by 2050. The main reason, the growing human population. Right now, there is an estimated 7 billion people on the planet. In 40 years, that number is expected to climb to 9 billion. So feeding all of those people going to be a huge problem. According to one expert, we will need to produce as much food in the next 40 years as we have in the past 8,000. That's unimaginable. Well, adding to the problem, as affluence spreads around the world, people tend to eat more meat. Raising 1 pound of meat uses 7 pounds of grain.
Wow. Right.
And then you think of all that goes into the production of that. So now at 9, what do you think about this article? Does it concern you? And what can we do? What are some options?
If it doesn't concern you, you're a complete moron. You have abdicated your responsibilities. Here's the thing. I love the global climate change deniers. Knock yourself out. But the rule is, if it goes the way we think it's going to go, if global climate change is real and we're responsible, we get to eat you first when we run out of food. That's my only rule.
Cannibalism?
You can believe whatever you want. But the day crap goes down, you're the person in the lifeboat we serve to everyone else. Because you were like, I don't believe this. And you drove your carbon footprint through the roof thinking it was no big deal. The truth is, you could, right now, in the United States, for every calorie of food you consume, let's say you eat something that has 1,000 calories in it, it has 18 calories for every single calorie of food spent in petroleum. Just in oil production, not other food that's used.
Right. People don't think about that.
No.
They just eat.
Trucking it, taking the water and the grain to feed the cattle, slaughtering the cattle, moving the cattle after it's been slaughtered, packaging it in a plant, wrapping it up in plastics, presenting it in a store that's hundreds of miles away from where it started. It's completely unsustainable. If I was feeding myself, lifting a fork to my mouth, and it took 18 times as much energy to get the fork from the table than the calories that were in it, I would die of starvation in a matter of weeks.
Crazy.
It's just.
Have you seen
And that's
Food
where
Inc?
we are. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, if you
Food
haven't
Inc.,
seen
Fast
Food
Food Nation.
Inc., you gotta check out those.
Watch Collapse. It's on
documentaries.
Netflix streaming. Yeah.
You got Hal's take on it. Herman Mercado writes, I believe it. If global warming is not under control by then, Arizona will have prime oceanfront property up for sale.
Yeah, Jerry Heckler says it is unfortunately inevitable. Underdeveloped countries lack education and resources.
That's true. We have plenty of education resources.
We do.
We just don't use them.
And George Suttle writes, only if we allow it to be like that. Get off your butts and do something about it.
Absolutely.
And Graham Murphy says, after reading the article, I'm glad I'll likely not be around.
Wow, thanks a lot, Graham.
Where are you going to be when it all goes down?
Do you have grandkids? Do you have children? I mean, how do you raise kids and then just go, I don't believe it, I don't care? Like, how do you present hope to your children if you're just abdicating any responsibility in it whatsoever? But, I'm pescatarian, I eat fish, but my diet is about 90% vegetarian. The difference will be, by the way, we will run out of oil long before this becomes an issue. So getting the food places will be the biggest primary concern.
Right.
And a lot of localization will happen, which will actually be long-term better for the environment, better for the food source that you're getting.
Right.
So ultimately, there will be positive shifts in that.
Well, here in Phoenix, we're seeing a lot more urban farming, community farming, where people are going and, spending money in their community.
Allison has chickens. I've got vegetables growing now. So
you're going to see apartment buildings with you're going to see high-rises with wind turbine floors. So like floor 8 and 15 will be empty floors with vertical turbines in them that will pick up wind that drafts through a building and will power a lot of the electricity. You'll see a lot of unused buildings like in Detroit, places like that. They're starting to farm on the floors. They're turning them into vertical farms.
Yeah, well, we got to do something. You can't just sit back and say, whatever happens.
Even if you don't believe humans are responsible, you got to prep.
Better to be safe than sorry,
From
right?